Welcome to today's YouTube video. Thank you for checking out my channel. I'm going to talk about a blog post that I posted yesterday, and I'll put that in the link below so you can access the blog post directly, where my blog is Bankruptcy.blog. It focuses on the issue of, are we heading towards a Trump recession this year? Now, I'm just one guy, right? One guy speaking, giving my opinions based on my background in bankruptcy and why I think this is a likelihood. But when I say things, I just can't make them up out of the air, right? I need some sort of proof. This is like being in court. I just can't say whatever I want. I need a foundation. I need proof, the evidence to give to the court. And so that's what I'm doing here today. In that article, there are two people. One is a top economist for JP Morgan Chase, who says we have a 40% chance of being in a recession this year, potentially 50%. Um, you have to look, and he's not the only one. There's other people cited in the article, but you have to play the odds. You know, I don't care if you voted for Trump. Um, you have to look around you and say, how does this benefit me? What is this going to do for my pocketbook? Now, I just posted a video regarding trying to be prepared for everything. Um, and I gave the example of if you're a landlord in Naples, Florida, if the Canadians are boycotting here, that's going to be an issue trying to rent out your investment property for the next 6 months. And so it's all these little things that could affect our pocketbooks, things that we sometimes don't have control over, but things that we can be prepared for financially. And so in this video, that's the point I'm trying to make now. This is a 40 to 50% chance that we're going to have a recession. And you have to ask yourself, is that possible? Is it likelihood? Who's agreeing with me? What are the odds that this is really going to happen? Well, if the top experts in the economy are saying this, then that's the way we have to look at it right now. There really is no other choice around this. So check out my blog, see what I wrote, but again, be informed. Look around. One of the things that I keep saying is try to be prepared financially for everything. Is the reality is there's been a loss in a few weeks of $4 trillion. I believe the number was, if I'm correct. Um, let's just say trillions. 1 trillion is more than enough, but trillions of dollars have been lost in the stock market with all this chaos that we're seeing back and forth in the economy with President Trump. And let's give a tariff to Mexico. Let's not give a tariff. Let's take it back. Let's give one to Mexico and Canada, and then let's take it back again. And all this back and forth, and our head spinning. And in the article, it says it's like being at a Wimbledon match. It's not easy to stay on top of everything, but we're talking about your money. And so one of the things, IRAs and 401ks were down. I've got a few years left in me, right? I'm not retiring anytime soon. I've got more than a dozen years before I even have to consider worrying about this stuff. But what if you were inches away from preparing for retirement? Now the stock market took a dump, and now you're holding, half of what you used to have before in stock value, which was going to be your IRA and your 401k. This to me is a repeat of the 2008 mortgage foreclosure crisis, where I knew doctors. I knew two of them that were ready to retire. They said, I have my home. My home is worth a lot of money. I'm going to sell it. I've got all this money in a 401k from the hospital pension plan. I got money in an IRA. And then comes the mortgage foreclosure crisis. Their house was worth half of what it was worth the day before, myself included. I ended up doing a voluntary foreclosure, but their pensions and everything else was also worth a fraction of what it was worth before. They couldn't retire. You spend years thinking about retirement, and they just couldn't, because this was something they were not prepared for. So the reason I mention now 40%, 50% chances, you need to be prepared. If you were close to retiring and you were a few months away, maybe that money should have been withdrawn. I don't know. Everybody's situation is different, and you have to analyze your personal situation or go to a financial advisor to not do a repeat of 2008, which a lot of people, maybe we don't have long memories, and sometimes we have selective amnesia when we shouldn't have. But I haven't forgotten about that time frame, not only on a personal but a professional level. And if now the housing market increases potentially, right, because the tariffs against Canada means that's where we get our lumber from. Now, supposedly, I think there's a executive order where Trump is opening up 280,000 acres of land, to deforest that, and that would bring down, of course, the price of lumber. But that presents its own issues. Right now, the deforestation is going to create problems for everybody who works in those environments. It's going to affect farmers. It's going to affect everything. So everything's interconnected. Everything has what I keep saying is a snowball effect, which the snowball effect is really a debt strategy, to pay off your lowest debt first and then keep going down the line to pay off all your debt. I'm using it in reverse, where your debt's starting small and it's getting bigger and bigger because of situations like this that we cannot control. But if you cannot control it, you could be informed. And maybe, as an example, maybe instead of losing 50%, you only lose 20%. Hey, both suck, right? But I know losing 20% is a lot better than losing 50%. If you don't believe me, send me $50 and then you're going to be crying saying, I wish I only lost $20 on this one. So be prepared. Watch my videos, watch other videos, go to credible sources, read what you have to be prepared for this economy. Because I'm going to be honest with you, 40 to 50% chances of a recession are not odds that I like. If these were odds on a slot machine, and every time I put in two quarters, or a quarter cool, and then all of a sudden I'm going to win one out of every two times, that's awesome. But when we're talking about the economy taking a hit and going into a recession, and it's almost a 50% chance, those odds I do not like. So that means I've had to adjust. May sound simple, but there's just certain little expenses that I'm holding back on. All these projects that I had going at home, that's hundreds and hundreds of dollars every month at Home Depot. Those projects have stopped, but I have to be prepared, right? I got to practice what I preach. All right. So any questions or comments, feel free to post them in the comment section below. I will put the link from the prior video that I was talking about, the X factor and trying to be prepared for everything, because that is the only way we're going to get through this. I think it's safe to say when we went through the mortgage foreclosure crisis, maybe a lot of us were not ready, right? I was ready. And if you watch that video, you'll see how no matter how prepared I was, it still didn't work out for me. But that's the point. You have to be as prepared as you possibly can to avoid the hits. All right. Any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. Let me know what you think and feel free to like and subscribe my videos. Take care, everybody.